Welcome everybody to the special meeting that is called today, Monday, May the 4th, 2026. It is 6:01, 6 o'clock. Let's do it. We'll call us to order. Let's start out with the pledges.
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Ms. Goldie, we lead us in order of prayer.
We pray that what is done here will be for the good of all of our students and faculty, and it will be pleasing in your eyesight. In the name of Jesus, amen.
So move into public comments. I'll read. I think everybody over here has spoken before, but I'll remind them of the rules. Treat the board with respect. No personal attacks will be allowed. Comments will be limited to 5 minutes. We reserve the right to limit number of speakers, presenters, if we notice a consistent, repetitive pattern of discussion. Slanderous or disruptive comments will not be allowed. Please refrain from addressing any school employee or elected official by name or position for his or her protection. The board is under no obligation to respond to public comments, only listen. So we'll start. It's Alex Harper, an ACC update.
Okay, so good evening. I've spoken many times before. I actually stood here a few weeks ago to share my concerns regarding student discipline and my son's 504 accommodation compliance at the high school campus. Concerns that were supported by 2 years of documentation of ongoing challenges. Since that time, my son was told by a staff member, and it's already been addressed, but I think you should know. You haven't asked for accommodations in a while, so I'll give them to you this time. This reflects a misunderstanding of 504 accommodations, which are not optional or based on student requests, but they are legally required and they must be consistently implemented. I have also repeatedly had to ask who is responsible for ensuring compliance. For 2 years, I have communicated with an administrator who I came to find out did not have the authority, and I was never informed of that. The same administrator led nearly all of my son's 504 meetings, yet the appropriate oversight was not in place. We did hold a 504 meeting today to review and adjust accommodations, and I was assured that staff follow-up would occur. While I do appreciate that step, past patterns have led me to be concerned about whether compliance will be consistent. I am hopeful now that working directly with the administrator in charge will lead to meaningful change. However, I will continue to advocate for my son and expect that there will be no retaliation towards him. At this point, the lack of consistency raises serious concerns about accountability. No student should experience negative consequences due to a parent's advocacy. Additionally, due to the ongoing lack of resolution, my attorney has advised that we begin the formal legal grievance process. While we do have legal counsel on retainer, we have still had to pay out of pocket for guidance throughout this process. This is a burden that not all families can carry, and no parent should have to incur legal expenses simply to ensure their child receives legally required accommodations and a fair education. It is concerning that meaningful communication and assurances of compliance only began after legal involvement. I am bringing this to the board not only for my son, but to ensure compliance is followed for every student in New Waverly ISD. All students deserve access to an equitable education. My son's accommodations are not special treatment. They are supports necessary to provide equal access as required by law. So I will continue to advocate until compliance is not optional in this district, but it is expected and consistently delivered for every student. And I didn't write this down because tonight when I was going through his backpack to help him get organized because he's ADHD, there was a paper from a teacher, and in the corner of it, it says, "Do not ask me to hand engrave something that's poorly done again." When you tell that to a student that has a disability in handwriting, thought process, and dyslexia, they're not going to want to do anything for you. They're not going to want to remind you that they have accommodations. They're going to shut down. And as a teacher, I cannot imagine writing that on a student's paper. And you should all be outraged that that was written on a student's paper, especially one with disabilities. And I'm asking you again, as a parent and a community member and a former student of this district, to please service our kids fairly and equitably.
Ms. Megan Compton, concerns.
Right, good evening. My name is Megan Compton, and tonight I'd like to speak to you as a spouse and a community member. My husband has proudly served as the head baseball coach here for the past 3 years. During that time, our family has made this community our home, and we have grown to truly love and value students, families, and the people here. My 2 girls have grown up to adore their baseball boys, and to them it's like they have 15 big brothers. My husband is deeply committed to these young men and to building a baseball program that represents this school and community with pride and dignity. He strives every day to do what is right for the students and for the entire athletics program. As many of you know, our baseball season came to an end this past weekend. Like many families involved in athletics, we are physically and emotionally exhausted from the demands of the season. However, our family is also carrying a deep sense of discouragement because the treatment and the lack of support my husband has experienced from administration. Throughout the season, it became increasingly obvious that administrative presence at the game was quite different than in the past years. Historically, attendance from administration was limited and often connected to having a student participating. This year, however, there appeared to be a much stronger presence, yet it did not feel rooted in support for the players, the coach, or the baseball program. Instead, it felt as though that the efforts were focused on monitoring my husband, looking for opportunities to catch him in the wrong, and protecting their own appearances. That has been painful to witness and deeply discouraging for our family and for others invested in these athletes. My husband pours his heart and soul into this program. He invests countless hours into these athletes, teaches them life lessons, and helps them grow on and off the field because he truly loves his calling. It is difficult to watch someone so dedicated not receive the support and backing that leadership should provide. As a spouse, I also want to respectfully share concerns regarding interactions between an administrator and my husband that, in my perspective, the administrator crossed professional boundaries. During my husband's first year of employment, there was a time when their professional relationship appeared to be very close. During that period, he received late-night text messages that included invitations to dinner and comments questioning whether I would be one of those wives who would object. Although my husband did not reciprocate these interactions, there were also personal conversations in which the administrator shared details about their unhappiness within their marriage. This further contributed to the interactions feeling personal in nature rather than strictly professional. There have also been conversations promising my husband that when this person took over as the head administrator for the district, my husband would be promoted. While this is far-fetched, I also believe this is highly unprofessional and inappropriate. In my view, the nature of these interactions shifted after playing time was adjusted for their student during the 2025 baseball season. Following that point, their tone and dynamic of their communication changed significantly into what I perceived as retaliation. Since the 2025 baseball season, this pattern has continued and carried over into the 2026 season, resulting in higher administrators to be involved. As an educator myself, I understand how important strong leadership, professionalism, and collaboration are within the school. When administrators and coaches effectively work together, students will benefit the most. When that partnership breaks down or crosses a line, the impact reaches far beyond just 1 or 2 individuals. Situations like these, inconsistent discipline, and the feeling of having a target on your back affect the players and their families, the coaching staff, and our own family as well. High school should be a time when students are able to pursue their passions, build character, and create positive memories. Instead, many are carrying unnecessary stress caused by inconsistent discipline practice and unprofessional interactions that they witness between adults. I understand that accountability is necessary and that students will make mistakes as part of growing up. Our responsibility is to guide them correctly, correct them fairly, and help them develop into responsible adults. Discipline should be consistent, fair, and applied equally to all students. Over the past 3 years, 4 of our top baseball athletes have left the district due to concerns related to actions or experiences involving administration. Several of those families have been vocal about their concerns and have addressed the board at various times. When students feel singled out or unsupported to the point of leaving, it should prompt serious reflection. At New Waverly, the term family is often used to describe culture of the school and community. However, these experiences of this season have not always reflected the values of unity, respect, and support that a family should represent. My hope is that these concerns are taken seriously so that the students, staff, and families can move forward in a healthier and more supportive environment. I would simply ask that you consider how you would hope your own child or spouse be treated in this situation, and that the same fairness, the same standard of fairness and professionalism be extended to our students, coaches, and families. Thank you.
Mr. David Wells for clarification.
Okay, so I signed up initially just to give her more time if needed. So if, she got the stumbled or choked up a little bit, she had more time, but I will clarify some things, because Ms. Card stumbled upon her words last time at the last meeting, and I do need to clarify on that. Because y'all need to know, when she spoke about the special teams being board members, booster members, that wasn't from her mouth. That was from the locker room and from the head person's mouth. She was relaying it, and I know it got miscommunicated. So y'all need, that needs to be clarified. That wasn't her words. There's a lot of things that's come out of that locker room that I found out from coaches as that. Like a parent hit list from our head of our athletics. What kind of mess is that? You know, I know your extended contract, I felt like y'all let us down a little bit. But I know y'all have a job to do. I'm not gonna question that. I don't know all the legislation and everything. But since then, I've been told by my students and their friends how many more boys are not gonna play next year. To me, that's upsetting. I think y'all had every right to dismiss him when a punishment for his father not signing a deal was to put a 45-pound weight over his head with an injured thumb. To me, that's child abuse. If the kid is injured, knowingly injured, going to a trainer, you put 45 pounds above his head and make him run sprints, that's abuse. I'm sorry. It's not being weak, it's not being soft. That kid is hurt. Other things, that right there, if that can't touch your heart about what's going on and make you see clarification of what's going on deeper than what's being talked about, I don't know what to say. I've watched it, I've listened, I've heard it firsthand, standing right beside them when it happened last year. Then it happened again this year over a certain student. This has got to stop. I've heard from numerous kids about how they feel like there's bullying going on by some administration. That if you're not a certain group, you better stay underneath the door or you're gonna be singled out. I know last time some of the teachers come up and spoke, I had nothing against the teachers. I had all the respect for our teachers. And to me, I wish the teachers were some of the highest paid people in the state because of what they got to do. They're building up our children to be leaders. But also, when we have somebody like this right here that is building people up, why are we trying to get rid of them? We just lost one today, or he's gonna leave. One that our boys looked at as a leader, and now he's leaving. Why? Why are we keeping on losing these leaders as developing young men and women instead of fighting to keep them and getting rid of the ones that they don't look at like that? So all I'm asking you now is just, when y'all go to talk, make the right choices moving forward. And get the right people in leadership to build up young people to be leaders of our country, because that's what we're doing. As teachers and admins, you're structured to build young people up, not beat them down like it's going on right now. And Mr. Hill, we had a good conversation. Thank you, sir. It was great. We talked, bounced stuff back and forth, and I love it. And you got mental suggestions, go talk to him. He told me his door's open. That's his job. And I felt like he took my concerns and he had a page. So don't let me keep arguing on when I come up here. I mean, I know a bunch of people want to talk, and I am asked to do this, and so I will do it. Because, clarification, no, I'm not a doctor like Adam said. One PhD I got to play in BS, but I also stand up for the children, mine and everybody else. I feel like I told y'all for the good Lord just asked me to come do this, and I will keep on doing this to protect our children, and ask for y'all to do what's best. Thank you.
Ms. Carrie Shelton, high school culture.
Good evening, everyone. Today I watched something small that captured the high school that I actually know. Our administrators were at their desks when our office aides playfully sneaked attacked them in the office. And our administrators actually laughed and playfully returned the attack. And the moment was silly, but it's not meaningless. I've seen our admin actually play with random kids in the hallway in the same way. Students don't play like that with adults that they fear. They don't seek out adults they believe are indifferent to them. That kind of easy, joyful interaction comes from trust. And that's the campus culture that I see at our high school. I see students who know they are held accountable, but also know that they're cared for. I see administrators who can enforce expectations without becoming cold. I see teachers who may not agree on everything, but who recognize steady leadership whenever they see it. And I'm here tonight because I care about New Waverly, and I care about the culture of our high school, and I care about our community. I know there's been noise, I know there's been criticism, but I think it matters that we pause and ask what kind of community we want to be when conflict gets loud. Have the loudest critics made time to come and sit with the administrators they are upset with and actually seek resolution? Have they accepted opportunities for good faith conversation? Because concern and conflict are not the same thing as cruelty. Disagreement is not the same thing as destruction. I know of at least one situation where a critic was personally invited into a conversation meant to resolve concerns, and that opportunity was rejected in a way that did not reflect the dignity or courtesy we expect in our district. That matters. Our children are watching how we handle opposition. They are learning from us what it looks like to disagree, to stand on principle, to defend what matters, and to deal with people who see things differently. We have to show them that they can stand firmly on their principles without abandoning basic human decency for one another, because every person in this community deserves decency. Words can destroy, or they can restore. Right now, we have a responsibility to model the kind of words that restore trust, restore perspective, and community our students deserve to inherit. We are intelligent people. We are capable of holding two difficult truths in our mind at the same time. We may disagree with one another, even bitterly, and we can still treat each other with decency. We can still value people apart from our differences. We can still seek resolution before we seek an audience. Right now, we live in a culture, guys, where people are far too quick to abandon one another if they do not see eye to eye 100% of the time. That's ridiculous, and that's not New Waverly. So please don't mistake conflict for failure or criticism for consensus. Both our high school admin are necessary to the strength, safety, and stability of our high school. They help preserve a campus where students can be known, challenged, corrected, protected, and still loved well. That's worth defending. Thank you.
All right, at this time, it's 6:18, I'm going to declare us in the executive session to consult with our attorney. So, head to the library. All right. I will declare us back into open session at 9:13. We have no action items coming out of executive session. Need one more. Okay, got a motion to adjourn, do I hear a second? Second. Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.